What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined today by the man, Jay Lonzo. How are we doing, Jalen?
I've been better. I think a lot of Yankees fans could definitely say the same. But game one of 162, so I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, listen, before we do get into Yankees opening day, our instant reactions, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We're going live before and after every Yankees game this season. Also, we got these daily pre-recorded videos going up every day at 10 a.m. on day games and 12 p.m. on night games. So stay tuned for all that. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. But what I do want to do is break down the Yankees today. As a whole, it was an extremely frustrating game to begin the season. However, that doesn't mean that we should be overreacting just yet. I guess we'll start off talking about the offense, or lack thereof. I guess it was just flat. That's the only way to describe it. Without Gary Sanchez today, the Yankees would have no runs. Gary Sanchez with a big 2-run bomb, though. I mean, that's great to see from him, especially after his disappointing 2020. But I think kind of the gist of what the Yankees offense didn't provide today was situational hitting, right? I mean, that's the key. That's the key in going into every season. That's what wins you a World Series, being able to hit when it matters. And the Yankees just weren't able to do that on opening day.
Yeah, and I think the Yankees didn't have the most dominant spring offensively, so I don't know how much that weighs into it. I know Giancarlo Stanton had a pretty good spring, but outside of him, Glaber got hot towards the end, but no one really stood out in spring to say like, oh, we think they're going to have a huge year. We kind of just expected that because we know what these guys are capable of. And so I think realistically, it might take a little while for the bats to get going just because we haven't seen anything to say otherwise. The Yankees are known for their slow starts. And again, just because they lost this one game in extra innings when they didn't even get outplayed, like the Yankees lost this game, the Blue Jays didn't win it. I firmly
Yeah.
believe that. So it doesn't mean that they'll have a slow start. It doesn't mean that they're going to lose this series and get swept. Like none of that means anything. It's just they have to scratch this from today and hopefully get some better at bats going. And I think if you listen to some of the post game interviews, they know what went wrong. They know they have to be better situationally, and hopefully we can just see them make some adjustments. Something that we haven't really seen over the past few years.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, especially considering the Yankees had a very slow start this spring. I think what a lot of people thought was once the regular season started, they were just kind of like flip a switch,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they were going to be like the dominant offensive Yankees. I think it's going to be kind of more of an easing in process to just flipping that switch. But listen, I do think what kind of caused the overreactions of many fans on opening day was because like the lack of situational hitting is a very sensitive part of the Yankees fan base, just because we've been brutalized by that for so many years now. I think that that's the main reason we haven't won a championship with this core yet. And a lot of people could make the argument it's because of lack of pitching, but personally, I think that past couple of years it's really just come down to the offense not really being able to score with runners in scoring position. Score with runners in scoring position. And also like just not being able to get that big hit when it counts. So I think that's kind of like why fans got like so frustrated on opening day. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, for sure. And I also think I know that it's a new year and I know there's a lot of new excitement. Obviously, there's fans back in the stands, so that's going to create some new excitement as well. We have a sour taste in our mouth from the way that last year ended.
Of course, yeah.
If you stop me if you've heard that before, but especially losing to the Rays with everything that happened between those two teams. So I definitely think that there is a lot of excitement and a lot of anticipation built up for this year. So for it to be this kind of like antagonizing game is like it just adds an extreme layer of frustration.
Sure.
But I think people also have to remember this lineup is not really much different than the lineups that we've seen in the past. Like we have Jay Bruce in there, but he's subbing in for Luke Voigt. So that's not going to be like a long term thing. And then Clint Frazier is our starting left fielder now.
Mhm.
Aside from those guys, everything else is the same. So I know that we hoped and today Gary showed a lot of promising things. So hopefully that can continue on. But we can't expect this Yankees team to be super different than they have been in the past. the thing that I'm really excited and looking forward to is seeing how this pitching staff is going to unfold, because I loved how Cole pitched, and I absolutely loved how the bullpen looked today. And we get to see Kluber in game 2, so eventually we're gonna see Tyone. Those things are what I'm more looking at in the beginning of the season, just because I know that the Yankees bats might take a little while to heat up, and we
Yeah.
know what they're capable of. So, like I said, the situational hitting is something that has to come from within. We're not making any trades in the middle of the season to put some a Trevor Story in the middle of our lineup. At least I don't think so.
Yeah.
It has to come from within this group.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of Garrett Cole, I mean, the pitching was awesome on opening day. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
denying that. Garrett Cole, I believe, went 5 1/3, gave up 2 earned runs. One of them a solo shot to Teoscar Hernandez, I believe.
it was. He had a great
Yeah,
day, Teoscar Hernandez.
no, I know the Blue Jays lineup had a solid day. But the Yankees bullpen, which many people were questioning going into the year because of Britton and Wilson both being out and Chapman being suspended for the first 2 games, did really solid. I mean, Chad Green came in almost 2 innings of work, clean. Loaisiga, clean. Darren O'Day, clean. Nick Nelson, I mean, he gave up the RBI double to Randall Grichuk, but that's due to the extra inning rule that kind of starts the runner on second base. It wasn't even an earned run for him because he didn't let that runner on base. So
Yeah,
I think that the pitching, it's weird because usually the pitching is something that we have to worry about, right? And for some reason, I'm oddly confident about the Yankee staff going into this year. But shifting back to like the offense really quickly, I think what is the most important thing out of their opening day performance is how they rebound on Saturday, right? Especially with Corey Kluber on the mound. I think I think Saturday is going to be a much more important game for the Yankees than opening day was because of how we're going to be able to see the offense rebound from such a brutal performance on Thursday. And also because we're going to get to see Corey Kluber's first appearance as a Yankee, kind of his first outing since 2019 if you take out the 1 inning pitched in 2020. So if Corey Kluber performs well, that's going to be huge for this team, and it'll be a big moral booster moving forward.
yeah, I completely agree with you. I think, like you said, this second game is going to be way more of kind of a peek into what this team is going to be, and I think it is going to be way more of a. I don't know if any. I mean, of course, every regular season game is important, but I wouldn't say like losing game 1 is any more devastating than losing game 2 or vice versa.
Sure.
But again, seeing Corey Kluber, how he looks in his first regular season start is going to be huge. We might see some other parts of the bullpen that we didn't get to see today. We might see Sessa, we might see Litke, two
Yeah.
guys that didn't get in there today. I think they were the only 2 guys, if I'm not mistaken, that didn't get in. I could be missing
Unless you
one.
want to count like Michael King.
Right. One maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, but I can see him maybe coming in, but we generally know what Michael King is going to give us. But we could see the other part of our bullpen, and like you said, seeing how this team rebounds. And I think like kind of what I was talking about before, it's just whatever we expect or want from this Yankee offense, it has to come from adjustments, because this is going to be our group from now until the end of October. Obviously, adding
Yeah.
Luke Voigt when he comes back is going to be huge, but this is our group. Like we had the guys that we would want up in these situations, we had up. So
Hmm.
it's going to come down to them just executing, and I have faith that they're going to turn it around. Not
I agree. I agree.
I don't even want to say turn it around.
No, I
It's
know. I was just gonna
you
say
know
that. I mean, if anybody is overreacting after opening day, let me just remind you the Yankees are gonna have a great season this year. I still have them winning the AL East. Nothing's changed after one game. They have
Yeah.
good World Series hopes as well. So that's all I have to say. Honestly, I know after game 1, people could kind of get their hopes down, but keep those hopes up. Keep those chins held high. That is gonna wrap things up for us today. Like I said, to begin things today, we are honestly pumping out content left and right all season. So stay tuned for that. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you do know when we go live before and after every Yankees game this season. You guys know the drill. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Peace.